Recording.
Good evening and welcome to the Power Hour. Here we are back for yet another week. Joining us as always is the urban sensation, NWA legend, C Red. Hello, C Red.
Good afternoon.
We have the queen of the knockouts and now the what is the juggernaut, shall we say, of Jello wrestling, the one and only Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, hey. We have the real deal, Rion Skills, who is actually joining us live in studio. And by studio, I mean my kitchen. And our special guest, and show the tacos off. Look at those tacos. Oh, now the tacos all over the damn floor. Can't take you anywhere.
You're right.
And our special guest tonight is our good friend, Braylan Saunders Effort.
What's up,
Do
everybody?
I say hyphen or do I just pause in the middle? I'm not exactly. I've never had a hyphen guest on before.
I would say you can do it either way you want.
It's like the name of an English lord. Like you should buy one of those parcels you can buy and be Lord
But
wait.
Funny you mentioned
Lord
that.
Saunders Effort.
I was well, Rachel was there at the Feast of the Goat Queen. I was the disco mage that day.
Yes, the disco mage. The
the
go-go
lore,
dancing was my favorite.
I try. The lore lives on.
That was Hazel's hands down favorite thing of all time. And she told me that she hopes you continue to do the disco mage in the future.
Oh, I will, for sure.
Backed by popular demand. Braylan, your legacy of late in professional wrestling is absolutely out of control. And it all goes back to a little less than a year ago in Elgin at Nightmare on, what was the name of the street?
Chicago Street.
Nightmare on Chicago Street. Shut up. I wasn't there. You were. You could have helped me out there. Anyway, that was, if I'm not mistaken, the first time I became aware of the Hamburglar.
That was honestly the first and only time the Hamburglar has been used by me.
And the Hamburglar was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was impressive. It was festive. It was beloved by all at the Nightmare on Chicago Street. And then all of our meetings after that, whether I was on commentary or whether I was backstage, I ceased to refer to you as Braylan and just called you the Hamburglar. And I remember being on commentary at Rocket Pro when you were reffing there, and I kept calling you the Hamburglar. And Shelly's like, "Why the hell do you keep calling me Hamburglar? Nobody knows about McDonald's that way. We're old." So I love the gimmick. And then Hamburglar kind of went away. I mean, it was only one time, and then it went away.
Yeah, it wasn't even meant to be a gimmick.
Next thing I know, the Bros are dancing with a pineapple. And then there was a pineapple entering Wrestle League with Wrestle.
Oh, correct, yes.
And the children IPW, especially that one little girl,
oh yeah,
absolutely enamored with the pineapple. I believe the Facebook page is Pineapple Treetop or Treetop.
It's a Treetop Pineapple is his official name.
And he's out there in the world of social media. He's got lots of friends on social media. He's got lots of likes.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. He tries to keep it entertaining. He's a party animal. If you go
there's Treetop Pineapple getting down with his bad self. So there's that era, and now I want to take you to Frontline Pro a month ago, or a couple of months ago now. Was the first time I saw Disco Ray in action. Now, you want me to do a timeout?
Oh, sucky, yeah. I need one of those. Funny enough, I have one of those heads. I know that's Ryan Matthews, but I have some of those that the old me, not now.
I just want you people to see this since I could actually show you. So whenever he says something about a photo of any kind, if it's not sent to me directly, I have to scroll through a bunch of this stuff and hope for the best and then go ahead and just put one in there. As you can see, I'm still scrolling. So I have to figure out which one he's going to say and then time it accordingly off of his words. That's just one file. I have 14 files that I just go through just in case something gets said. I just want everybody to see that. So if I don't get to D-Ray, because I'm still looking for hamburgers. So if I don't get to Disco Ray, give me a minute. It'll pop up. I just want you to know.
Well, you don't even really need Disco Ray because Disco Ray is sitting right before you. You
But let's say someone's new.
That's fair. That's fair. So Disco Ray, I had seen footage of Disco Ray coming out to Dancing Queen at Wrestle League Chicago show at the VR room a few months ago. Yep. And all of those people went batshit crazy. That's the only way you can describe it. I mean, you would have thought it was LA Knight winning SummerSlam Royal Rumble. That was how it was. Anyway, my first encounter with Disco Ray was in a promo. And then when he got introduced at Frontline Pro, and
I think it froze on my screen, Steve.
Am I frozen or are you frozen?
I think I lost you for a bit. I think you're back.
I'm back. Well, you know, our internet is not always stable. We do our best here. We're very low budget. We're all entertainment, but no budget. That's why we have paper heads for timeouts, but that's neither here nor there.
That's pro wrestling also. All entertainment, no budget.
All gimmicks. I was taking the long.
I mean, not having a budget allows the creative juices to flow. That's for sure.
That's it. We're encumbered by money, which is fantastic. And there's Disco Ray. There's that picture.
Oh, there he is. Oh, that's a great photo.
Doing his thing. I love that picture. My point of pointing all of these things out, my education to the various gimmicks. First of all, they're amazing, and I am not the only one that feels this way. It is said often. When you first started at Wrestle League, were you one of these characters, or did you just come in as Braylan?
So I don't know if I've told this to any of you guys, but when most people ask, I tell them I broke my hand the first day of training. So I went in first 5 minutes.
And Shogun broke your hand. That's the way it usually happens.
Well, it wasn't Shogun. I put a little bit of blame on the wrench. No, I'm just playing. I love Lewis. But I went in there doing, just drop down, leapfrog vertical. And I look at Lewis and I was like, oh, when do I get in there? I just walked in. I think I did. Wrestle League lets you do a free day. So I watched one of the days just watching, and then I come back. I pay the money. I sign the waiver. And I was like, oh, when do I get in there? Lewis was like, oh, just jump in. And I was like, oh, okay. And so they're doing the verticals. Some regions call it the leapfrog. So I do one, and I was about a good bit heavier than I am now. I lost a little bit of weight since I started. And I hadn't done anything athletic in years at that point. So I got up the first time. That was fine. I go up the second time. This guy doesn't even train there anymore. I think he's stopped doing wrestling in general. But he doesn't commit all the way through, so he doesn't get all the way underneath me. So I fall on him, and then my hands just go into his back, and they just all like smash and crunch all together. So this finger, if you can see it, still bent. This finger was broken. And then these two fingers gave me the most problems because I guess there was tendon damage. I'm sorry, this is a long, rambling answer to your question. But this is my story. But they wrap the fingers around because this one's broken, and that's what they do. So, you don't move it. But when they took it off, this finger was mostly fine. These two fingers didn't bend past here. Wow. So I had to do physical therapy for 8 months to a year. So my first 6 months at wrestling, I didn't do anything. Well, not anything. I didn't do any wrestling. And that's when I started reffing because I could use my left hand. And I asked, could I be a part of the anniversary show that year? Because I wanted to be a part of it in some regard. So that's when I learned to ref, and that was when I first started reffing, was the anniversary show last year.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Fireball.
I have a very epic video.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
From setup for that show of it's like this Renaissance panorama of everybody dancing. and I set it to like 15 different songs on my TikTok. I'll have to find it later and send it to you guys.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yep. I had so much fun with that.
But to answer your question short, when I started wrestling, I was any idea I might have had was out the window from the beginning because I couldn't do anything for 6 months.
It gave you some time to think, and that's good. And there, of course, is let's see, Red getting reprimanded. Dorado
laying down the law. I think that was one of my first just matches reffing. I think I did Wrestle and went to RPW. That's where I met Rion. And then he had me at I think the very next IPW show reffing.
And history been made ever since. How did it feel to chastise a legend like C-Red the way you are right there? I can't imagine C-Red enjoyed that. That never happened to him in NWA.
I mean, I was taught by Christian and Damian Saint to, the ref is the one in charge no matter what they say. So apologies to Red, but I was attempting to lay down the law. I don't know how well Red is listening at the moment. That's a photo.
Oh, now there we go. Now this is interesting because as I was looking into your past, were you on some kind of dance team?
I was on 2 dance teams. One for 3 to 4 years of college, and it was called a Ras, which is it's a folk Indian dance style from the state of Gujarat, and that's the one I did for 4 years. And I was also on a Bollywood fusion team for one of the years, my senior year.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
The amount of athleticism that you need to do what you do in the squared circle is impressive into its own. I have been blown up many times myself, but to be on a dance team with that kind of motion for that kind of time, that had to have been grueling.
Oh yeah, no, very, very similar. I mean, dancing and wrestling, I think that's why I took to it, if I do say so myself, fairly easily, or at least the understanding of it was because of dancing. Because you have part of it's partner dancing, part of it's you're going nonstop for those routines we did were 8 to 10 minutes, and you literally just don't stop moving the entire time you're there. And then just like coordination, knowing how to do moves, it's all very similar, which I think is why I find, those are my 2 passions. I love wrestling and I love dancing. And that's why I put them together. And that's kind of how Disco Ray was part of why Disco Ray was born.
That's amazing. So how long, I mean, you said 4 years in college, you were one kind, and then was the second dance squad after college? Did you continue it as you got older?
It was, I won't get into it. That's a whole weird history behind like collegiate Bollywood dance. I won't get into that. But the Ross was the competitive team, and so he went around. I was captain my senior year. Actually, did traveled around a bit, and then the other team was a little bit more chill. It was non-competitive. It was you get to pick like what kind of dances you want to be in, and we just did like a school show. But no, after college, there's not really too much of a market for just those styles of dance, or at least in Chicago. So haven't touched it in a while.
Is that something you think you might ever go back to?
I think I mean that's where most of my friends from college came from, and then I had younger friends who were freshmen, and then I met some people who still did it that were younger than them just from knowing them. If the opportunity arises, I would go to it. The part of it's Garba, so like different colleges do what's called a Garba, or at different India weddings, they'll have it's kind of like a circle dance. So I would hop into that. But the way that competitive nature of it, as it was in college, I don't know if I have the opportunity to go back to it.
That is amazing. This is the moment in the show where C Red has sat there listening, and this is where we find out weird things about C Red that sometimes we don't know. Like we were talking about something with one of our past guests, and we found out that Red was in a boy band. Oh. So, Red, were you ever in a competitive dance team?
Yes, I was.
I knew it. I knew it.
Of course you were.
Red, let's come on now. You guys got camaraderie. Let's go.
Damn it. God damn it, man.
No.
I want to hear all about it.
And again, Chicago is the birthplace of house music. So my last year in high school, we had a house group called Ecstasy. So I was the rebel. So
that's called X or ES?
He's trying to find it. He's trying to find it.
ECS. CAS.
Hey, look, he's got it up. He's ready to go.
I'm looking for it.
Oh,
no.
We got video?
Hold on.
Oh boy, I think
no. There are no.
The Marlin.
These were before the days of video, and nobody was carrying a video camera.
Oh, you lucky. This will work. I can screen. It's fine.
Anyway.
Got it. I got it. It's fine.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I was the rebel. So I would leave the house on a Friday morning, go to school, and I would not return back home until Sunday morning, probably around maybe 10:30. Only for my father to ask me if I was going to church, and I would say no. I got homework to do, and I'm going to bed because I had school Monday. So I had been out, and the irony is that my mother swore now either I was on drugs or gangbang, and it was like she didn't realize I could dance till probably 6 or 7 years later at a cousin's wedding. And she was like, "Where did you learn to do all of that?" I'm like, "I told you, my last year in high school, I'm dancing. Like that was my life." So that was our thing. We won first place at one competition.
So you are both championship dancers.
You could say that. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right, Rian, IPW, you got to talk to the board. We need a Disco Ray C-Red dance off.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
So you're gonna put any up, Rian?
Oh, we got do we got it?
Wow.
Oh yeah, we do. Ladies and gentlemen, go back into the mist of time. Ecstasy. Look at those hats.
That is not Ecstasy. That is New Edition. I don't even know where I would have.
That is New Edition.
Right. See, look at you.
Could have fooled me.
Look at you.
I'm just rolling with. I'm assuming. Yeah, that's New Edition. You can clearly see Ronnie Bell right there in the front. Moving on. Rachel.
What?
Do you have any dance stories to share with Disco Ray?
No, my only dance story was that I was in ballet until my teacher tried to force my legs, like my legs and my feet in first position, and realized that was as far as my hips were going to let them go, and that was the end of my dance career.
Fair enough.
When I say I don't dance, I don't dance.
So now we need to have a dance off between Rachel.
That's why I fight,
Ray,
because I can't dance.
C-Red.
We're gonna have a too cool moment one of these days. I'm gonna get.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe when my spine is rehabbed, I can attempt the worm. I don't know.
I'm down with that. That's amazing.
I do the worm with you. I haven't done it in a while. been a while. Rian had that picture up earlier. That was one of my favorite photos. I'm almost.
I'll go back to it.
90
degrees.
How old are you in that picture right there? Because that is a young man.
In that picture, that's not even that long ago. That was 20. I want to say 20. Oh wait, I want to say 2019.
Get the fuck out! That is not. No, you're like 7 years old there.
No, I was like 21, I think.
What? Come,
22, maybe. 21. I think this past year, I think has aged me the most. Otherwise, when I started wrestling, everyone thought I was like 17, 18. They still do. I think I just still.
He started wrestling.
You fit right in with Lat and Adonis as young men and Motivation Mike, because you guys are all the youth of America that are going to keep. Oh my God! You're
Don't even tell me what year was that.
Yeah, that was actually last year. No, I'm kidding.
I believe it.
God,
that's when you started wrestling. Come on, that is not
exactly. That's when I broke my hand. No,
that is absolutely that is lies upon lies upon lies.
I think that was 6th grade.
That's something like that. That's
what year were you in 6th grade?
Jesus, 2009, 2010. That was before. If you see all the other photos, I kind of have like a mohawk fade thing going on. So that's actually a rare photo. Most of the photos, I either have that or I have the afro. Very rare to see me like with very little hair on top.
We'll be selling autographed copies of that hair because it's such a rare photo. You'll get that on eBay. What made? I mean, obviously you kind of answered this, but I need to know more. Obviously, competitive dance and wrestling, the symmetry. I get the correlation there, but what made you love wrestling? Red and I have asked this question on just about every show, but I'm curious, what drew you into pro wrestling? Was it a specific match that you saw? Was it a specific show that you watched as a child? What brought you in to wrestling and said, man, I want to do that? And ultimately started doing it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I was born into it. There was no time where I didn't watch wrestling. It wasn't like I was 8 and I found it on TV. My brother is older. He's been watching. He was born in '93. He was been watching it since he was born. So when I was born, I watched it with him. So there was never a time where, I was just born in, the peak of the Attitude Era. So I don't remember what was going on, but I remember seeing Rock and Austin, et cetera, et cetera. But I think what drew me in, I think my 2 favorite wrestlers, one is Goldust, and just the pageantry and the entrance and the wig and the robe, and I was him for Halloween, and I love that whole thing. And Dustin Rhodes continues to just be incredible in the ring. And then on that picture, Rikishi / Too Cool, and then the whole dancing thing is what got me into it. And I think Rikishi was also my grandmother's favorite wrestler, because every time. She thought it was so funny. It's like there's that man putting his ass in people's faces, and she would just have a whole time. But I love the wrestling and then the breakdown into the dancing at the end. And I think those are the 2 wrestlers / acts that brought me into it. And then when I wanted to do it, I actually came to Wrestle League in 2018. It was my 21st birthday, and my friend took me to I think it was wrestling. Might have been JPW. One of the Thunderbolt shows, where they have the baseball games, and I went and I met Lewis. Doesn't remember me. I met Lewis. I went to the Wrestle League gym. I remember seeing Dez and Quinn and shouldn't say Dez, Ewok and Quinn, and a big Tyler LeBeau was there then. I asked, what does it take to do this? Can I get involved, et cetera, et cetera. They gave me the whole rundown. But I was in college and I had no money, and I was in college in Evanston, so I couldn't get down here. So I just kind of let it go by, and then I finished college. And as soon as I finished college, it's in the back of my mind still. Then the pandemic happened, and then once that finally winded down, I think they had just started doing the show right before the last year's anniversary show. I think it was their first show back. I started seeing the social media again. They're hyping everything up. They're doing promos, and I was like, oh, I'll try it again, and I'll go back. And then that's kind of, 1 month later, I walked in and broke my hand, and that's
the rest. They say
the story's been going since there. Yeah, but I've always loved pro wrestling. I do in school and college and high school, any type of project. I do, I integrated wrestling somehow into it. It was like make your own college dorm or something in eighth grade. And I got a little shoebox and I took apart my wrestling ring because I had all toys as a child. And I put little turnbuckles in the corners. And, my ideal college dorm, I said, would be a wrestling ring. And then just like all the other things I love and just put it inside of that. So yeah, no, my life has never not had wrestling in it. I used to have dreams, literal dreams about like being in the ring, and I wake up and I was like, man, that was cool. And like I thought that was reality until I came back into reality. So it's been very cool to put, literal dreams into action.
That is really cool. The picture below now is some of the great folks that comprise Wrestle League Dojo and the Wrestle League itself. We have had many Wrestle League pupils and performers on this show, and I have found interviewing each of them is incredibly easy because you all are well spoken and you all entertain. What makes Wrestle League so good that everybody seems to know how to emote and act? Because talking on mics, and being in character is not something that everybody does really well. Some people do it great, some people not so much. What makes Wrestle League so special? Because whenever you guys come on this show, and from Muggsy to Quinn, to the Bro Bros, to Russell, I'm sorry, JR, to Ethan, aka Motivation Mike, everybody's come on and been so well spoken, and you are keeping up that fine tradition and fine fashion. What makes Wrestle League so special? I gotta know.
Gotcha. I think we're all just a bunch of characters. Like none of us are the same. We're all coming from just very different walks of life, doing just very different things, and we just all have a passion for wrestling. It's not just wrestlers. It's people who are kind of entertaining on their own, and there's something interesting about each one. And then you bring all these people together who love wrestling, and you put on a show. And wrestling should be a variety show, and that's what you get with wrestling. You get the bros, who are themselves just the stoners who love rock music, who love Jay and Silent Bob. You got Russell, who's has an actual rap career. He is a rapper, and he's bringing that facet to it. Motivation Mike, he's just some asshole. I'm kidding. No, but
I agree 100%. 100%. That bastard stole my title.
No, but even he's got his own. Everyone has their own story that they're just bringing to the Wrestle League dojo, and just everyone is just a delight to get along with, and everyone has this passion for wrestling, and no one is boring to talk to, just in real life, let alone on the podcast. So I think that's why we make great guests.
That's absolutely true. And I was entertained thoroughly when driving to Unity, Wisconsin, with one Hot Rod Daddy Andy and one filthy Muggsy James. That is a car ride I will never forget. I'm looking forward to doing it again later this month. This weekend, Wrestle League has not one, but two big shows. Friday night in Chicago at, I believe, the VR room, correct?
Yep, Redline VR, yep.
Redline VR room. And that is going to be a very amazing show. It's 21 and over, I believe. $25 the door gets you in. And from what you hear on the street about the last show, this one is probably going to be even more combustible. And then Wrestle League returns back to Homewood on Saturday for Wrestle League Under Siege, which is going to be a hell of a show. They've been putting the card up over the last few days, and there's a lot going on. Talk about what you're going to be doing over the weekend, both Friday and Saturday.
Gotcha. So I actually won't be involved physically at the moment. The card's subject to change, so you never know.
Never know.
Friday, Disco Ray will actually be doing the ring announcing.
Wow,
another hat. So we're throwing my another feather in the cap. So look out for that. I did actually ring announce the first VR show as Braylan. But we'll let old Disco Ray get in there and see what he can drum up. And then Saturday, I believe, though I think that's not set in stone. Also doing some ring announcing. I don't know if that's set in stone. Two, I don't know if it'll be Disco Ray. So we'll just have to look out for that. But incredible action both nights. VR show, always a raucous crowd, 21 plus. I believe the kind of the tag for that, I don't know if it's still going on, so don't shoot the messenger, but it's supposed to be every match has some type of championship implication, whether it's a title on the line or it's going to be for something, and then we make our glorious return to Homewood the next night. So it'll be a great show either way.
And we got some exciting debuts coming to Wrestle League. Joey Jet Avalon and Evil Sierra from out of nowhere are showing up to invade Wrestle League. You got to watch those two. I've been dealing with those two for a long time. You got to watch them.
Never. Those two are great. Go ahead.
I said he was talking to you in case you were wondering what was happening there. He was throwing you a pass. So you go ahead and continue on. Go ahead.
That was a pass?
Yep.
Did I freak out? I might have froze up again. Rachel, you love Braylan, Disco Ray, whoever he might be. What questions might you have for this young man?
You should have warned me that you were going to call on me.
You can ask anything you want.
I get in trouble when I don't include people. I'm just trying to spread the
told you I only had 4 hours of sleep. Why would you do this to me? Okay.
I'm challenging you.
Let me see. First of all, let me ask on behalf of Hazel, when can we expect to see the Disco Mage again?
The Disco Mage, I would say, well, either the Feast of the Goat Queen or any Renaissance or Fae related event. I think that's character I want to keep special. So it will fit the theme of the show. We are doing Lucha in the Park soon in September. And I plan on busting out El Rey Disco instead of Disco Ray. So,
well, that is something to look forward to.
Yep.
And where do you see Disco Ray going within the next few years, or will Disco Ray be who continues for the next 5 years? Are there other characters up your sleeve? What do you want to do?
I think the Disco Ray for sure will, live on for the next 5 years. Health and circumstances pending. Where I want to see Disco Ray go, that's hard to say because it's not entirely up to me. But I just want to. I think I found my niche early on. I just want to keep dancing and entertaining and, put on the best performances I can. And for me, it's all about the crowd and it's all about the people, and that's who I want to get into it, and that's who I want to feed off of. And I hope to, get it on bigger and bigger stages as the time comes. Obviously, I've been at Wrestle League, got on the front line, which is something I thought I wouldn't be able to do, and maybe until like a year from now after debuting. So I'm very fortunate I got that spot. Had a little cameo at IPW. If I can make some more appearances there, that'd be great.
That was
looking at
the fastest entrance and exit I've ever seen.
I just had to, what is it? No, not here for a long time. Here for a good time.
Indeed,
Disco Ray had a good time.
I mean, having seen Disco Ray in action, I think it's fully up to you where Disco Ray goes. I mean, I've never seen such a reaction to a character that they're just being introduced to as I have seen with you at Frontline and at the Red Line VR show. It's every time it's the same energy, it's the same reaction. Like, you're never a dud, you know what I mean? So I definitely think you can give yourself a lot more credit there.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well done, Rachel.
Gee, thanks, Steve.
No, I appreciate the questions, and I appreciate the praise.
Absolutely.
And now we go to C-Red for any questions he might have or some roses, because we love Red and the roses. Rian's already looking for the roses picture. Come on now. Why are you shaking your head? Just because he yelled at you as a ref? Got bad blood?
He's still upset about it. I gave him to
first of
5 a
all,
couple times.
did not yell at me. Let's get that clear. Second of all, who eliminated Disco Ray?
This is true. We got a couple bones to pick. I think, Red. I think the Hamburglar was actually murdered by
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers last Halloween. And then that was the end of the Hamburger. Technically, that was the end of the Hamburglar.
He was decimated.
All right. That's your second timeout. You got one remaining. You got one remaining. That's 2.
If I
we get a 3.
I walk out the door. I don't get it shit. Look, I'm gonna tell you this right now. That was hands down one of the weirdest things I had ever been a part of, because I had to then deal with this random body that's just on the ground, and they had to just deal with the same shenanigans that I am dealing with. I was like, he won't get up. Like I'm just as shocked as you. I don't know what we're supposed to do. Is the show? I guess the show's over. I guess we have to get another ref. I don't know what else to do. I don't know.
The ref was murdered.
I had no information to give them. That's my job as information liaison. I had zero information to give them.
Maybe an ambulance or something might have been.
No,
nice. No, okay.
Like a zombie Hamburglar showed up randomly.
Yeah, exactly. I think zombie burglar came. I think through and some of the other matches. Rose from the dead.
That was a weird time. Like I don't know. I guess it's over.
So you're saying there was a death and a resurrection in the same night?
Yeah.
Man,
it would seem so.
Y'all better get to
within an hour
for Nightmare on Chicago Street.
Yeah.
That was a rough.
And I just want to make it clear that the Hamburglar was a ref, an innocent bystander, in all of this. I was not fully, let alone I don't even think partially trained at the time to
innocent
get physical like that.
Innocent of all.
It was took a ref bump to a whole new meaning.
Yeah, you did. You took a ref death, first ever, as far as I know.
That was a rough time.
Seems so.
It was an enjoyable night. Braylan, what can I say? First of all, I love that the fact that you are incorporating your dance with your gimmick. The best gimmicks are those that are extensions of one's real self. People, when I came up with the Soul Touchers doing the Soldier Boy, it was not only because it was the dance that the kids were doing, but it was like I get to dance to the ring. And again, so like yourself, that was a big part of my life for years, just loving to dance. So Steve can get this out the way. So I started out doing Michael Jackson impersonations as a kid.
Of course you did.
Which translated.
He's looking for
you.
you.
A photo coming.
He'll never find that.
You were the Michael Jackson impersonator. What song were you doing?
Billie Jean, of course.
Oh, I thought it was going to be The Way You Make Me Feel.
No, Billie Jean. So translated into my love for New Edition, which that's where the boy band reference comes from. I tried to start my own boy band. But even in high school, house music took on a whole new level and dancing became my life. So now when I can dance in the ring or out the ring, it's enjoyable. Sorry that the Hamburglar had to get murdered last October.
Rest in peace.
But I love the fact that you're thinking. You're a young man that is using his mind and his creative juices to figure out what works best for you. A lot of guys, either they get a gimmick thrown upon them or they come up with something that, again, it's regurgitated like thousands of times. Like, and unfortunately, we're in a business that nothing's new. Nobody has came up with a gimmick or a character that nobody has seen. But to me, the best gimmick is, again, when you can mix part entertainment and part of who you are into your character. My character has grown tremendously over 20 something years. I started out one way and I thought, oh, that worked for a few years, and then I got rid of some stuff and it was like, oh, I'm gonna be this. So but I love Disco Ray. I've heard nothing but excellent things. Sorry you broke your hand the first day. But
Got it out the way.
Don't you hate people that they're the ones that you fucking get hurt because of them, and then their ass is not in the fucking business anymore? So you can give the fucking receipt, Martin. I'm talking to your ass if you ever see this shit. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yes,
yeah,
agreed.
but that shows your determination. Really? You're gonna show a murder? You're gonna show?
Oh my god!
That's a Snoop Dogg song. Murder was the case that they gave you.
I need to see that. I'm gonna move this to my bigger monitor, just to the side, just so I can see it in full view.
I got another one. You just let me know when you're ready. I'll show you another one.
Yeah, I'm ready. I didn't know that was on. I didn't know we got that shot.
Always ready.
Yeah, I got plenty of those. I just gotta get. Did I just lose the screen? Yes, I did. Give me a second.
He's doing a lot of work over here. I don't know if the tacos agreed with him.
Anyway, Braylan, keep doing what you're doing. I love the fact that you said that you're coming out to entertain the people. And I think that gets lost a lot of times because everybody wants to wrestle, but nobody wants to entertain. And a lot of guys, they forget the crowd is there. And if it wow, really, we're just gonna boot on face.
Oh my god!
Oh geez, he's dead.
I don't remember.
Oh my god!
Please continue.
Someone's going away. That's a felony, right? That's manslaughter.
Hey man, I ain't in Elgin, so just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm loving the vibe. I'm digging it. At least somebody's doing it right. And that's the beautiful part of you and your personality that I think all of this is blending well for you. And I love the fact you're the type of person that doesn't care as long as you're working. So to say, hey, I'm going to be a ring announcer this week. I've been a ref. I'm a wrestler. Like, that way you get a better aspect of what all it actually goes into, and a better appreciation for each job, So keep doing whatever you need to do to stay relevant and stay in front of the fans. Because guess what? Yeah, you might have to ring announce, but guess what? Somebody can't make it. Guess what? Hey, you already out there, Disco Ray. Get to working. So I have nothing but high hopes and aspirations for you, sir.
Appreciate you, Red.
Oh, that's nice. Well done, Red. Well done indeed. And listen, if you have nothing to do on Saturday and you're either just doing ring announcing or you're whatever you're doing, if there's an open seat on commentary, come on by.
Honestly, I was thinking about that. I think that's the one thing
I would enjoy doing commentary with Disco Ray or Braylan, whichever inclination of you decides to show up. I would be pleased to work with you any day.
Oh, maybe Treetop might get on the commentary booth. No.
Well, hey, if you can fit, because me and Treetop, that's a little girthy. I don't know if the table is ready for that. Let's talk a little bit about Wrestle League this Friday and Saturday. I know it's the Clash of Champions Friday night at Redline VR. I don't know a lot about the matches that are happening. I know one because I thought it was going to be Wittick versus Avalon, which is a match that is a lead pipe lock for being entertaining. But I have come to the realization that Avalon is fighting Shogun. That is a clash of the Titans. What do you think about a match like that headlining at the VR room? Because that's pretty hot.
Yeah, a lot of big meaty men slapping meat. I don't know if the card. I think, and I could be wrong. I think Bugs Moran. I think it's like might be a triple threat, unless something might have got changed. I think it's even more humanity in there.
There's a lot going on, boy. Poor Bugs. If Bugs is getting in the ring with Avalon and Shogun, he doesn't have a pavilion to jump off of and backflip onto people. At the VR room.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be in the ring with one of them, let alone both. And I've obviously no matches with Shogun, but obviously in practice, he hits you with. Oh yeah, If he hits you with anything, you're gonna feel it.
I'm just telling you, someday, some way, Shogun is coming for you.
Oh God, I will. I will.
Well-documented tale at Wrestle League. Someday, some way, Shogun is going to get some Disco Ray.
I mean, if Shogun gets in the ring with Disco Ray, then he gets the offer to. It's almost like The Godfather. It's either you wrestle or you can dance. If you can just have a quick dance battle and go on a better way.
That would be worth every penny paid to get into that show. We do know
Shogun Rooney.
Shogun Rudy, yes. That is the thing that will be said on commentary in some way. Let's go over the card a little bit for Saturday night as Wrestle League returns to Homewood. One of the matches that I find to be very interesting is there's a triple threat match between Joey Dalton, who nobody knows where his allegiance lies, what he and Quinn Wittick concocted at recent shows. Makes you think one thing, but he's a very mysterious character. And then of course you have Joseph Von Jagger or Jaeger, however you pronounce it, fresh off his stint as a gold man and ring boy, I guess they called him at the jump wrestling event.
I saw those photos. He was looking shiny.
He went full Kendall with that. He was having a good time. He was having a good time.
The ladies loved him. Often. Lots. And then, of course, one of the best in the business, the Ewok. What an interesting matchup of humans that is. What do you see when you see those three men coming into the ring, Disco Ray?
That's a lot of different styles just coming in the clash. You got Ewok, the hard-hitting, just brute force. bit of a powerhouse style. You got the quickness, the speed, the agility from Joey Dalton. Also the unprecedented strength from Joey, from a man that size. I've seen him. I think it was F5 on Russell. I could be wrong, but I've seen him get him up several times. And then Von Jaeger, somewhat newer, not newer. He's been. I know he took a break from wrestling for a while, but also a bit of a wild card and a bit of an unknown, and kind of sports, a mix of those styles. So just the collision of just a lot of different characters, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different styles come in the a beating of the mind, so to say. So that one's hard to predict. Yeah, that one can go either way as far as I see.
A lot of potential in that match. The Bro Bros are putting up their tag titles against a team that I'm very familiar with, making their debut at Wrestle League, none other than Jack Moody and Mateo Valentine, team known as Big Mood. Have you ever had the opportunity to see Big Mood in action?
I have not seen them together. I have seen in ref a couple of Mateo's matches. Not so much from Moody. I think he was on the last VR show, but I was had my own match to worry about, so I didn't see too much.
They are a phenomenal tag team. They are Chicago Style Wrestling's tag team champions. So it's
I didn't actually know that.
That is a champion versus champion kind of thing. I don't think they'll be defending their titles, obviously. But the Bro Bros, is there any hotter tag team than the Bro Bros?
Oh, I love the Bro Bros. They're gonna hate me for saying it, but I think they're one of, if not the best tag teams just in the indie wrestling scene right now, going all around the Midwest. And I know they hate to like give themselves any type of praise, so I will do it for them, and I think they're just phenomenal. And those are my guys.
I do enjoy them myself, Pele kicks notwithstanding. The Proven Championship is one that's going to be near and dear to Rachel's heart, as the Hot Rod Daddy Andy puts his title up against J.R. Lindsay, and they've got a bit of a rivalry that has stemmed back all the way from the anniversary show.
I think I've mucked around enough between those two. I gave the controversial call at the last show.
I remember.
So I'm gonna before anyone seems any more bias of me, I'm not gonna put too much opinion on that one.
You're just gonna play.
But it'll be a great match. Yeah, it'll be a great match. They always put on a great match. I think I've been a part of every single match in that series, just being a ref. So great match, but like I said, won't get try not to get too much more involved.
Rachel, any thoughts on that particular match?
I think that the Hot Rod Daddy Andy is going to prove himself the proven champion.
And she is not even a little bit biased, not even a skosh.
Not at all.
Well, I mean, Russell's still grounded. What do you want?
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Did you know he's made me a grandmother now? Adonis Allen is now my grandson.
They're in the middle of shaking hands, I think, right now. If anyone saw the Wrestle League page, you're doing after all the animosity, they're forced to shake hands tonight. I think you might get a video of that coming out. Russell, JR, and Adonis for their match on Friday.
Oh, that's right. That's another match that's hotly contested. They abuse each other. It's really kind of chilling, the thing going on between JR and Adonis.
I mean, it's it's his son. So
there is a ladies match happening Saturday night in Homewood. It's very cool. We've got Sierra, who is one of the most dominant women's wrestlers, or wrestler of any kind, in the Midwest these days. She is everywhere. You've seen her on AEW Dark. She was at Impact. She's been a little bit everywhere, and she's doing quite well. She, of course, is CSW Women's Champion, and she is taking on our local phenom favorite, Brittany Kay. Speak a little bit about that. Brittany is
sure.
Talent.
Yeah, Brittany just actually had her first few matches at the Feast of the Goat Queen. Was actually her debut, and I don't think you would know it because she did phenomenal in both matches. came out on top, I believe, in both. And I know Rachel was giving me some praise earlier for Disco Ray, but I think Brittany had the one of, if not the loudest reactions that night, just from everybody around. So she's already coming in with just so much momentum under her. And then obviously, Sierra, not too much more to add on. She's been phenomenal. She's been in, I don't know if she was on the cover of a magazine, but featured in one of the pro wrestling magazines. And then obviously everywhere, like you said, has been getting out there and just one of the best talents all around. So I think they're actually going to be a double feature. I think they're going at it night 1 and night 2 of Wrestle League.
So if you don't get enough of it Friday night, you can come back and get the nightcap on Saturday. The champion, Quinn Whittick, will be defending his title, though we are not aware of who it will be against, which I think is mysterious.
Gotcha. Could be, the wide selection of competitors at Wrestle League still that you just haven't named. Could be someone from one of the matches already on the card. Could be a new face. Hell, Disco Ray might get in there. We never know.
Oh, Disco Ray gets a title shot.
It's not me. It's not me. I just, but no. Quinn's been phenomenal. Several championships under his belt. Damn near everywhere he's went. A world champion at that. So yeah, anyone who's facing Quinn will be, in for a fight. He always pulls it out. No matter who he's facing.
And he controls fire, which is pretty cool unto itself. The final match that's been announced is the triple threat match. And you've got some of your friends. You've got the Lightning Kid Lat, Motivation Mike. They're in a triple threat match against Joey Avalon.
Oh, God.
Look, I love Kid Lat. That's well documented. Mike and I have a tumultuous relationship at best, but I think he's a hell of a performer. I don't know what universe is out there that either of those people survive what the man with the shovel is bringing to the table there.
Gotcha. You know what? This is the one I'm going to speak the most confidently on. I got Kid Lat taking it all. He always finds a way to come out from underneath. He obviously has Mike's number. And at Lucha in the Park last year, he went all the way with the battle royal at the end, and last person eliminated was Big Tyler LeBeau, who is if you remember him, he was a big feature of Wrestle League, damn near 7 feet tall. I think bigger than Joey Avalon. Not unfortunately, but he moved to Hawaii and is continuing wrestling there. But Kid Lat always pulls it out, and so I got my money on Kid Lat. And also, we're a good friend. I'm a little bit biased because he does go. Well, he just graduated from the same high school I went to, so we have that. We're good friends. We have that bonding.
We are big fans of Kid Lat on this show. We love his parents. I
love his parents.
They're just great people. Great kid. Wishing him the best in his future, as we did when he was on. Now we've talked about what we might like to see Ray do. You've got all of your characters. What does Braylan want out of life?
Out of life? Well, that's a charged question.
It is a charged question.
Out of life.
You're a charged show.
I thought you were going to say out of wrestling. Out of life. That's
that's what I'm talked a lot about wrestling. You've given us the Wrestle League card. We've gone over that. We've talked about the Hamburglar death. We've talked about Disco Ray and his arrival. You've gotten Red's Roses, but we're letting Braylan pass by here, and we shouldn't, because without Braylan, there'd be no Pineapple, there'd be no Disco Ray, and there'd certainly be no Hamburglar. So what is Braylan?
That's true. Out of life, I think I'll give the somewhat stereotypical answer, saying wrestling. I want it part of my life as much as it can be there. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not going to say for certain. It would be great to be on a bigger stage, the Impacts and AEWs and the WWEs of the world, whether wrestling or that's what I'm kind of building out my toolkit, and I can be used in maybe a ring announcer or ref, and but I always want wrestling to be part of my life, and I would love it if in any facet, if that's was to make it a career. Because obviously for a lot of us, we do our day jobs and then we train at night or we do shows on the weekend. But if my full income came from wrestling and I got to do that all the time, that would just be great. And then just outside of that, enjoy hanging out with my friends. Hope to, not anytime soon. I guess the long-term plan is to just have a nice family, nice wife, kids. And obviously with wrestling, those don't always go too hand in hand, as I think we know. But yeah, I think nothing too major. I think at the core of who I am, I just want something very simple. Like I said, nice wife, nice family, good paying job, and the cherry on top would be just wrestling was that job or that part of my life.
Well done, sir. That was a hell of an answer.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking time out tonight to be a part of this show. You are one hell of a young man, and Wrestle League, Frontline Pro, Rocket Pro, IPW, everywhere you work is lucky to have someone like you there that does so many great things. And we wish you nothing but the best moving forward. We hope that somebody gets you on TV someday, because you are a lead pipe lock as far as being an entertainer, my friend. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for having me. Steve, Red, Rion, I think you were the first three of the first people in the wrestling business I think I met. I think I did Wrestle League and was taken to RPW and IPW like the very next week or very next 2 weeks. And thank you guys for being a part of just my mentorship and coming to you to talk to and help me out. And thank you, Rachel, for always being supportive. If I ever hear a voice in the crowd, I always can identify Rachel's voice, cheering for Disco Ray. So I do appreciate that too.
You're welcome.
That is amazing. Braylan, you can stick around with us because we've got to talk about Jello Wrestling now, and then we've got to talk a little bit about JFW. So if you need to go, then we wish you well. If you want to stick around and hear the conversations and talk about other things, you can stick as long as you want, my friend.
Gotcha. I do unfortunately have to run and take care of a few things. But this was a great hour. I don't know if you have repeat guests, but I'd love to come back.
Oh, we'll have you back. We just scratched the surface this time. We're gonna get deep next time.
Oh yeah, there'll be more stories, I'm sure too.
I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Disco Ray, Treetop Pineapple, Hamburglar referee, the one and only Braylan. Braylan, thank you so much, my man. It's good to see you. We'll catch you over the weekend.
Oh yeah. Have a good rest of the night, you guys.
All right, that is Braylan. We love him. Don't love him, Rion. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
Huh? Whoops. All right, have a good one, guys.
See ya. All right, that's Braylan. We love him. Catch him all weekend long with Wrestle League. Friday night at the Redline VR room. Saturday at the Homewood Auditorium. And now it's time to talk about what happened Saturday night, Griffith, Indiana. I got to see a side of our co-host that you think her a force of nature when she's got her skates on, because when she's skating, she is one of those forces that if anybody gets within her vicinity, she annihilates, which is amazing. But to watch her wrestle and physically kick ass to anyone around her. And the moment of the night for me was she was fighting a Bane-esque character. And now I don't know what the name of the character
was. It was a Morton. It was Decadent. It was Decadent as
well, I know it's Decadent, but I didn't know
a Morton Jody. Have you not seen Mad Max Fury Road? She was the female Immortan Joe.
I have not.
I have. That's amazing.
I have not, but that's awesome. Now it makes all the sense in the world.
And if you had seen the movie, the ending of the match would have been even better for you.
So I'm going to go watch that movie this evening, so
Yes,
I can be part of the cool kids. But
okay, if you haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, well, at the end of the match, I ripped Immortan Jody's face mask up and off, and then pinned Immortan Jody as she lay gasping her dying breaths halfway out of the Jello pool.
She's being modest. She killed that bitch.
She killed her. The photo of
Yep. She's dead.
Yeah, I was telling them to count it. They weren't counting it. They kept checking for breathing, and I was like, nope, she's dead. Count it.
Fatality.
You gotta do it.
There was a fatality at Nightmare on Chicago Street. There's a fatality in Griffith. I saw it with my own eyes. She killed a man. She killed a woman. She died. There's death. It happened. I was there. Anyways, Rachel, if you ever decide to stop skating and go into professional wrestling, I saw a number of maneuvers in the Jello that were legit badass maneuvers that would make some wrestlers working today, myself included, pale in comparison. It was amazing, that performance. So congratulations on being the most dominant force of nature at that whole event. The Ileana Derby Dames we're lucky to have you, because you came out all Stone Cold Steve Austin, crashing beers over your head, flipping everybody off. And we were as loud as we could humanly be. And that place got amped.
Yes, it did.
Tell us all about it.
Like I said, it's really hard to tell you when I was just fighting for my life. And I really was fighting for my life in that Jello. So it was determined at some point afterwards that the ratio of water to Jello was incorrect. And so, like, we were weightlifting while wrestling at the same time, essentially, with our entire bodies just trying to get out of the Jello. And so I just, like, every time you saw someone throw a punch or launch themselves, you have to also account for all of the energy it took to get out of the Jello to do that. So everyone was on fire. There was another wrestler there that night. She has not been wrestling for a while because she had a precious little baby that I hope I get to hold someday. But she wrestled as Brandy Savage. She trained with Freelance. And I did get to see her give what is his name? I think he wrestled under something like Dennis or something like that. I did get to see her give him a Hurricane Rana back in the Kaiju Attack days, way back when. So I'm trying to convince her to come out to Wrestle League, or at least come out to the knockouts. But she came out as that grandma from Kung Fu Hustle with the rolls in her hair and the cigarette. It was pretty great.
Yeah, I saw Andy recruiting her to come.
No, I recruited her.
I did not get to go backstage. I had to sit with Andy all night, and when they were leaving,
yeah, no one got to go backstage. I've had the photos removed from the internet, but I was pretty drunk by my third match. And Steve, you know what I'm talking about. In future.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I should remember that when I, a drunk bitch, ask a room full of drunk bitches, is this outfit too nude? And they say, no, it's fine. The answer is actually probably that it is too nude and I should not wear it. So, raised a lot of money for the Derby Dames that night.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
So, I just want to know where my friends were to tell me, Cactus, no.
I can tell you this. When you came out, Andy and I kind of stopped and looked at each other. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But of all the performers, and there were some really, really good ones. There were some really good talent. I mean, the whole show, just from start to finish, was high energy, and it was a lot of fun. But I just really think wrestling is your calling, because when you were throwing lariats and just grabbing people by the face and tossing them, especially with the liability of the weight of Jello, I mean, that's amazing.
You may have something there. We'll see. I have a long road to recovery ahead of me and another surgery. So we'll see.
Well, we're pulling for you, because you were fierce. And quite a few of the knockouts, were on the card. La Bruja did very well. Mr. La Bruja bought half of the memorabilia.
Yes,
I'd like to see what that man does for a living.
This is another thing that I was very drunk when I offered up the bikini bottoms for my first match for auction, and no one stopped me.
Nope, nobody stopped you, and you signed them.
And I just, Steve, what kind of best friend are you?
You were living your best life.
You let me go out there practically buck ass naked, and you let me auction off my bottoms. I mean, what kind of friend are you?
I look.
There's no way you could tell me this is the way this is going
to. Let me just say this.
It's not just you; it's all my CKO friends too. I mean, how many people saw me and did not think maybe she's had too much to drink?
Listen, you made your auction item made a lot of money for the Derby Dames and for the cause. I mean, it was amazing.
It was my dignity.
$100 is $100.
My dignity is gone. I've had to have photos scrubbed from the internet, Steve. Where were my friends?
We were watching it all unfold in a state of absolute shock.
It was like all of the devils on my shoulder murdered the angels. I am a 36-year-old mother, Steve.
How in the hell was I going to stop you? You're an unstoppable force as it is. What am I going to do? I blame Andy. I blame Andy.
Yeah, I blame him too. I blame everybody but myself.
All I can say is next time we advertise an event like this, and the Derby Dames have already solicited you for the next fundraiser. Yeah. So I imagine you'll be healthy and back.
I mean, who wouldn't after that?
I'm just saying. They didn't book everybody. They booked one person for the next show, and that was you. There's a reason for that. The entertainment value was off the chart. Be proud. That was amazing. Did she hang up? She might have hung up.
No, I did not hang up.
And I'm responsible. It's my fault. I didn't talk her out of it.
The only one that was there.
Anyway,
out of this group,
it was.
You represented all of us.
Something that must be said is that once I have reached a certain level of intoxication, and thank all of the religions of the world that there was no weed involved.
Oh my God.
All of my ideas seem like good ideas. And I need my friends to say, Rachel, don't do this. And where were you, Steve?
Steve. Why you didn't do it?
I'm the one that told you not to wrestle with the mustache. I said, don't wear the mustache. I was there.
Oh yeah, I had a mustache.
I told you not to wrestle with the mustache. I was there. Had your back then.
Thanks.
The rest of it was.
I will say this much, and this is probably giving away more than I want to, but I have to clarify that I did not break any laws. I was wearing 2 pasties on each boob. Okay, everything was covered. Except for everything that wasn't. And Steve,
that's fair.
I am never. We got to go over girl code. We need to go over girl code.
I didn't say anything. I have been very, very silent about the whole situation.
No, we need to go over girl code because when your friend is doing dumb bitch shit, you have to be like, hey, you're being a dumb bitch.
I can't even stop myself from doing dumb bitch shit.
I mean, I know that, but
I'm the agent of chaos. I thrive in those conditions. That's the only time I'm any good.
Well, in my latest round of dumb bitch shit, I stayed up until 1 o'clock reading last night and then was up at 5. So I'm very tired and I'm going to go to bed after this. But I do want to acknowledge my opponent, Decadent. I love to face off against Decadent in all of her personas. And she called me a talented wrestler. And I cannot take that honor because I have never seen anyone sell the way Decadent sells. It would be an honor to continue beating her ass up and down the south suburbs.
It was a hell of a night. Decadent did amazing things, and that match that you two had was, to me, the match of the night. Loretta Sin represented hard, and she went very far in the tournament, and she beat some ass. So the knockouts came to play, man. You know, La Bruja far. She was very over with the crowd. Loretta was very over with the crowd. Decadent.
Rage was there. Sirius Apprentice was there.
I saw Chevy doing the 50-50 and you know, supporting the cause. So you know, there were a lot of knockouts there.
Yes.
It was very, very wide. I saw Mindy was there. She was there, came to see you fight.
Uh-huh.
And
Tracy was there.
Yeah, there were others that were there.
Peppermint Batty was there.
That's right. So the knockouts and the knockout family well represented at the Derby Dame establishment. And it was a splendid time was had by all.
Indeed. And now I'm going to go to bed.
We're going to say goodnight, Rachel.
Good night.
And thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I don't know what for, but you're welcome.
All right. That is Rachel, a.k.a. Cactus Rack. You will see her at the Knockouts match. She won't be skating, but she will be there doing something crazy, no doubt.
I'm the bell babe. I'll be hitting the bell.
She'll be hitting the bell.
They're giving me a hammer.
Oh, God have mercy on us all. No stupid bitch shit. No bitch shit.
Yeah, no dumb bitch shit, Steve.
No dumb bitch shit. That's the name of tonight's episode. Dumb shit.
Dumb bitch shit. Yep, exactly. All right. Good night.
Bye, Rachel. Well, how about that? Brett, I got a question for you. Did you listen to the JFW podcast today?
You already know the answer to that. So why are you asking that question?
All right. So this past Sunday, we went and the event, which I'm referring to as Dutch Babies 2.
No one's calling it that.
I'm calling it that because there were lots of Dutch babies. And it was quite the
Actually, Michael Allen called it that.
No one's calling it that.
All right. So Dutch Babies 2 happened at Looms in Frankfurt this past Sunday. And it was Max Holiday, C-Red, myself, Rion Skills, PX, The Amazing Turtle, and Travis T. And that's a collection of people.
And CTW owner, operator.
And Jed Williamson. That's right. I forgot about Jed there for a moment. But yes, Jed was there. He was on Ring Rental, so we appreciate that. It was good to have a place to work. It was such a great, fun time to hang out and talk and, you know, go over stuff and the camaraderie of it all. The pictures don't do it justice. It was a tremendously fun day. Lots of Dutch babies were killed in the making of this particular event because there 6 Dutch babies went in and only half a Dutch baby came out.
That's a lot. No. 6 Dutch babies might have went in. 5 went out. Only one person didn't finish their Dutch.
Well, what I'm saying is 5 Dutch babies gone. A half a Dutch baby still remained to tell the tale. A half a Dutch baby. Travis couldn't finish the Dutch baby. There it is. There's the picture. That's all of us there. Red, do you think if when we go back for Dutch Babies 3, do you think our waitress will have listened to the JFW podcast?
No.
You want to give context to that statement, or you want to keep just?
Well, could you provide some context, because you were more involved in that aspect than I was.
Fair enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, the real deal, Rion Skills.
It's just me doing a flip. So here's the deal. Mr. Travis T wanted to talk to PAX or PX or Pac-Man, however you want to say it. And more or less told him, hey, I'll give you $5 to tell the waitress to go fuck herself, but only if she mentions that she was like not listening to making sure that she listened to the JFW podcast. Pax did not want to do it. I told him I'll give you 10 if you do. Because I was curious to see if he was actually going to ask her if she watched the JFW podcast. But there was other things that were happening in this conversation. Ultimately, without people paying attention to what was happening, Pac-Man then went and started to ask to where I had to stop it immediately.
He did stop it immediately.
And explain to her what was going on, because she needed context of what she was walking into.
And they tried to blindside her.
Yeah.
As JFW do.
Well, it's not, they didn't blindside her. I had already talked to the waitress. Her name was Candace. I had already talked with her previously, and she was really nice. So this thing that Pac-Man is just doing, because he is extremely nice, he's just doing what's asked. But I also know there was a little bit of malice in the scenario that was taking place, but not in a bad way. It was just one of those things where it was just
Travis being Travis.
No, Travis wasn't being Travis. It was just the weight of the room. It's just the rules that were set up, kind of like how you have this rule of the timeout. Like, I just have to respect said rule because that's the rule of the universe. So with the scenario with this was that I immediately stopped before she could even answer.
He did.
Gave her a tip ahead of time.
Did, indeed.
And then let her know that he is supposed to tell you to go fuck yourself. But I feel like you should know what the answer is before this goes down. So when he tries to ask you again, you can either reset it or go from there, or just ask him about the JFW podcast. To when she started asking questions about the JFW podcast, which ended up being the JFK podcast.
JFK podcast.
And shortly thereafter, we were trying to get everything back on track, to where she then said, well, in order for you to know if I listen, we need to come back. Now, I was not planning on coming back.
Dutch Babies 3.
Y'all could.
No, you got to come back.
I have no reason to come back.
We want to come back.
Well, y'all can go.
Well, we need the liaison to be there as part of it. You're the administrator.
Far from it. Just the idea was that everybody got together to do this thing. The thing already happened, and it's fine now. Like, everything that needed to get said, or just could have gotten said, I think got said. Otherwise, what else do you want to talk about? I mean, look at that crew of people.
It's a crew of people.
It is a crew of people.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that happened. But if I wanted everyone to know things that were taking place, I would have just recorded it. Just same thing with Mac. We would have just put it out into the ether. But it's one of those things where it was a good time. It was a very good time.
It was.
But I do know that Pac-Man was in a very weird situation. That in that instance, those are the areas that I thrive in. I'm totally fine with dealing with that type of scenario.
And you jumped in like you do at IPW sometimes to make sure the ship doesn't run aground.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
I don't know where you want to go with this as far as stories in general, but that's probably the best way I can explain what happened in that one instance, because there were a lot of instances going through. I don't know where you want to navigate. You could ask C-Red as far as stuff that he experienced while he was there, or you can talk about stuff that you chatted with Max, or we could talk about stuff with Turtle. Like, there's a bunch of stuff you can start going and talking about.
Well, I think it would be good. See, Red, what was your perception of Dutch Babies 2? I know you were disappointed. You were disappointed in not being around for Dutch Baby 1. So now Dutch Baby 2, you were there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Some battles just.
I don't make us stop doing it. That's what's going to happen.
No, I can't. It's never going to stop.
No, what's going to happen is we're going to go back to just doing the shit by ourselves.
That's fair.
Then just be done with it. That's because
it would just be
shit to the ground.
Just be another thing that I killed.
That's what's going to fucking happen. Y'all going to make us want to not be like, hey, but
don't say y'all. Don't say y'all.
Y'all, everybody in this photo. Everybody in the photo. There's a
because I was chilling that day. I was just happy to get out. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, there's a camaraderie that, yeah, when you're at a show, you're there and you like to mix and mingle and talk to everybody and chit chat. But it's just something different when you can sit down with people you genuinely care about and like. Just have conversations. And again, they, don't necessarily have to be about the business. I mean, a lot of times they did stir that way, but like, and I will give Rian his kudos. There were a few times where I just heard him just stop and say, hey, to Pax, hey, you okay? You all right? So that just shows the man that he actually is, that he gives a damn about people. And again, it's not about this damn business. It's just about caring about people.
I knew he was having a rough time prior to that, so I figured at the very least make sure that he's as comfortable as possible, because he's going from a scenario of being a fan to being on the other side of the fence. And that's one thing when you're just on the fence at a show. It's another thing sitting in that environment where you don't know what the hell is going on amongst people that you look up to, so to speak. And just, that's a completely different environment. So just watching his body language, like, let me check on him for a minute.
Yeah, but again, that just shows your character and the man that you are. And again, like I said, we see each other. Again, let's just be honest. Outside of Max, everybody was at the last IPW event, but think about it. You're either getting ready for a match, you just got done with a match, you really don't have time before the show to talk to people as far as, hey, what's going on? What's going on in your life? This is what's going on in my life. Like, you really just don't have that time. And then once the show is over, again, it's about, okay, we need to be done. Stuff's got to get out the building. Other people, some people got to leave. So you just don't have that time. So to make that time on a Sunday is a bonding experience. And again, I think that is, you know, I'm not saying everybody in the damn world needs to do it, but I think we have better understanding of each other as far as who we are as men, who we are as entertainers, performers, whatever you want to call it. We just have a better idea. And again, it brings us, because at least in this picture, we're all equal. We're just men sitting around the table. That's it, having breakfast. That's it. Nobody, nobody. I was wondering if you were gonna show that. I, we're just buddies, bros, or whatever, and nobody's, oh, I'm the promoter, I'm the owner, I'm the top worker, oh, I'm, the best comic. Nah, everybody's just a group of guys just having breakfast and having a good time. And I think when people get to know each other on that level, and I know there are people that get together on a regular basis and, they hang out, whether they party or is booze involved or whatever. But that's what, that's how bonds are grown and strengthened, in this business. It's not about storylines and, what company, we're working for this weekend and next week. No, it's just a good time. So, I mean, I had a wonderful time, time to get out, and just mentally clear my head again, walking in with no expectations, coming out with a full belly, and I came home and I crashed.
Yeah.
Dutch Baby 1, C Red 0.
That was a big thing. That was bigger than the Dutch babies from the other place.
It was a German pancake. It was just.
Well, Candace called it a Dutch baby.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying.
It was definitely not a baby. That was an adult.
That was a Dutch adult. That's what it was. To piggyback on what Red says, very early on in my wrestling existence, we've talked about this moment when Max has been on the show. There was a time when they were all eating catfish around a table in the back. And I thought that was one of the coolest things. I was like, man, because they were having a good time. They were laughing. And when I saw it, I'm like, man, that I bet that's a fun thing to do. So to have a situation where we have a moment like this, where we're all enjoying fellowship, if you could say that, it's kind of like me getting my privileged catfish moment. Although they're the Dutch babies, it's a different thing, but it's that moment that I never thought I'd get that I feel like I've gotten. And it's really, really an exceptional feeling to do these things.
I'm going to ask both of y'all this question. And did anybody notice this outside of me? Outside of random, like we all took pictures or took this picture in various ways, nobody was on their phone. Did you notice that?
The only time I was on my phone when I was
nobody was on their phone. And how rare is that in this day and age?
I kind of on my phone, but there's other reasons why.
No, but there's a difference between checking your phone, like, okay, let me see.
There were multiple methods I was having to deal with, so I was like, let me get all of this out of the way, and then I just set it down.
But you didn't have your phone, and you constantly weren't on it. Nobody was on their phone, and that is rare in this day and time. When you go out most places, most people have in their hand this device, and it's less about the person or people you are surrounded by, and it's about what's going on with this.
Can't do that in that environment. That's something that I have. Well, Max and I have talked about this is because there's other things in play that I'm looking at future wise when it comes to this thing that he's labeled Dutch babies to.
Never again. Never again.
We're here now. I recognize what it is. It's just I look at it from a standpoint of if everyone says, "Oh, we should talk a little bit later. We should hang out with everything." So they always say that at the end of shows. Like,
always.
And I'm like, well, okay, we'll see. And Max and I talked about this on one of the shows just in general. I remember we talked about this on the morning after a while ago. It's like, why don't guys just hang out after a show? Why do you have to go to wrestling shows to hang out? And I was like, that's kind of how it works. It was just something that we were just casually talking about because he didn't even know what was happening here with this.
That's true.
Because the legit scenario that took place was that my idea was that I was only supposed to sit with Travis T. That was it. Because of what took place at the I guess at Dutch Babies 1. Based on how this is going as far as continuity is concerned, is that because he was telling me about Looms, and I was like, I'll gladly sit with you at Looms. And I was like, just let me know a day. So then when he figures out a day, he was like, so it'll be you, me, and Max. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, you can invite whoever you want. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I had to talk to Max. Yeah, so we're going to Looms over here. We are? Yeah. And we're going to go to Looms. You and I will sit with Travis T. Who else is coming? Don't know yet. Oh, unsure. He said invite people, so we'll see what happens. And he was just like, oh, okay. And I didn't say shit else about it. I was just let's see what happens. I was like, I'll buy you breakfast. You just got to fucking be here so I can buy you breakfast. And then don't worry about anything else. And then that's when I just started inviting people, just to see, because I more or less went along the lines of, because Max understood exactly what was happening when he saw the people. This is everyone that ever said, why ain't y'all let me come in there and eat Dutch Babies with you? Okay, here you go. They're all in one spot now. Everybody is in one spot. So y'all shut the fuck up. Everybody is in one area. Here's the thing. I don't even think there were going to be Dutch babies there, to be honest.
Well, it wasn't a Dutch baby.
When Travis said, oh, it's Dutch baby, like, well, that's wonderful. And the first thing he said, Dutch baby talk 2.0. I was like, fuck! That's not what's happening here.
And here's why I do agree with you that it was not Dutch Baby 2.0, because we never filmed. Again, nobody had their phone. Everybody just enjoyed each other, whether it was something stupid that was said or people looking at other people looking at people.
Yeah, you got derailed.
Again, everybody was just in that brief 2 hours, I would say. It wasn't.
It's third time out.
I'm about to leave, Steve.
You don't have to leave.
I'm about to leave.
We're about to wrap this package.
Yeah, you got shit to do anyway.
I do got shit to do. Whatever it is, whatever it's called, it's a unique experience, and I'm glad I got to be a part of. And it was a great time. And very astutely pointing out that there was no cell phone usage or very minimal cell phone use. Everybody was present in the moment, which is lovely when people are present in the moment because it makes things more fun. Mm-hmm. Obviously we wanted to talk about the fun time we had, but I wanted to bring out JFW because that was a point of conversation about how Steve takes things and just uses one aspect and runs with it and doesn't acknowledge everything else.
That's kind of what you do, though.
It is kind of what I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. I wanted to speak about something that they had said this morning on the JFW podcast. And What?
I just hope that I heard this part because I didn't hear all of it.
Okay, so this was
this
was toward the end of the broadcast. Based on what I heard, Travis was talking about doing commentary at Southland, and somebody perceived his commentary as being less than genuine.
Okay, I did hear this.
He buried him, right?
I don't have to fuck myself, because if that was the case, I would just talk to them directly and be like, "Here, you're gonna have to watch this," and just beat off in front of them all the day, and then go from there. That's a joke for later. You're gonna probably don't even gonna pay attention to the fact that I told them I'd beat off in front of them if they have to go fuck off. Side note, you know what that would be if I did that in front of Mike Braylan?
What?
It'd be the Amazing Squirtle. That's a Pokemon joke and a sex joke.
That is a sex and Pokemon have now joined hands.
Please continue. Please continue.
Oh God. Okay. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a moment.
You were talking about how they were saying that commentary was disingenuous.
Yeah. Someone had given Travis the business about burying. That's a word that is used.
That would be a travesty.
It would be a travesty.
I'm on fire.
You are just light this shit up, man.
Fire today. And C-Red is just like stoic. He might be frozen.
He might be frozen. All of this and more in Dutch Babies 3 coming soon to a looms near you.
I'm not frozen.
So I listened to Travis, and Travis is always very real.
Mm-hmm.
And, he is a guy, I'll pull punch. He never pulls a punch.
Mm-hmm.
He says exactly what he means. He doesn't care who gives a shit.
Sometimes too much.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sometimes a little too much. But here's the thing. And I think, I've worked with Travis for a while now, and we've done commentary many times together. I think Travis is an exceptional commentator. He is very well spoken. He is amusing. He does a great job for SCW. And in my absence, he's been the lead guy, and he's done great. I listened to his commentary on the main event from the Star Spangled Beatdown, and I thought it was a fantastic call. He's very good at what he does. He came in and sat in for me at Rocket Pro when we had our match in May. So Travis is an established commentator, and he's good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he is. The way he does his commentary is just like the way he does his podcast. He says whatever's on his mind. He does his best to put over whatever product he's talking about. And, we just did IPW commentary on Facebook Live, the Marche Rocket Shaq Jordan match. And, Travis was being Travis, and it was great. I thought it was very good commentary. I listened to it back. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought we added something to that match a little bit. But Travis, got harassed by, I don't know the whole story. I just know what I heard this morning on the show. And, it's funny. Everybody thinks that they can do commentary. Everybody thinks that I can sit down in front of a mic and I can do it. It's easy. It's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as it is perceived. And I think in many cases, the role of commentator is a minimalized thing. I don't think it gets the rub that it deserves for what is going on there. And I don't, not for me. I don't really care about that so much at this point. But Travis works really hard. He in SCWs especially. He's commentator. He is the general manager of High Voltage. He does the roundtable. So Travis wears many hats at SCW.
But he doesn't get a lot of credit.
And he doesn't get a lot of credit. And it's a goddamn shame. It's a goddamn shame, because while everybody is off for the month, getting ready to participate in their 8 to 10 minutes of glory, Travis is working all month. Travis is doing his podcast, putting over the promotion. Travis is doing his roundtable the morning after, putting over the promotion, having everybody on to talk about it. This is not something Travis gets paid for, but Travis does an amazing job. All of us that work this way, podcasts, promoting, putting people over, we don't do this because we are paid to do it. We do it because we love the business. We do it because we want to see everybody do well. And the fact that somebody mistook Travis's intentions as being negative, you do realize that this is a drama, a comedy drama show, right? There are good guys and bad guys, right? No?
I know where you're going, but I feel like, you know what? I'll wait to see where you go. Have you? I got you.
You know, there are heels, there are faces, there are heel commentators, there are face commentators, there are commentators that play it down the middle, there are color commentators, there are commentators for every aspect of the business. To think that a commentator would be intentionally malicious, that would hurt the brand, that would hurt the product. I just feel like it's ridiculous. If I'm speaking out of turn here, obviously you've been doing this quite a bit longer than me, and read even more so.
That's not even the case. It's okay. I'm not going to say that I'm going to piggyback off of it. I'll put this in a different perspective.
If I'm wrong, tell me.
No. It's not that you're wrong. It's because you're very right in the way that you're saying things. But I also feel like it's one thing. Okay, I got it. It's one thing if it's hard when you are like working a match and you're trying to tell a story.
Yes.
When you're in any type of media, whether it be like if you're recording a song or you are telling a joke or anything of the sort, it's one thing when you're trying to get a certain perspective out, a certain vision out, when you're the artist. It's another thing when you have someone on the outside of it viewing said vision and talking about it. That's an entirely different talent in itself, and it is very much a talent. So when someone is saying something as far as it being disingenuous, the only thing that I can say is that when it comes to emotion, every right to be upset about that. Maybe there wasn't enough emotion in things that were being said. When it comes to what's in front of them, and you want something to be perceived as something, it would be your best, and this is just from being on both sides of the fence in this scenario, it would be best to do, as the artist, to do the best that you can to give the commentator of any sort of, like whoever's telling the story, whether they're a reporter for a magazine or they're doing something for a social media outlet, it would be best to put your best foot forward as the artist, so there is no confusion, so where it doesn't feel like they're disingenuous. Not saying that the artist is at fault, but I also know that it can very easily be misconstrued as, this is something I wanted to portray and you didn't say this thing correctly. That's fair. What did the artist do to make them miscue this other thing? And that's all. Like, there's the devil's advocate as far. That's why I'm like, I get what you're trying to say, but I also, from going on both sides of the fence of this, whether it's in ring or out of it, like I said, I've tried color commentary, and while I can handle myself, I'd rather not do it because there's a lot of things that are happening in front of you that you have to pay attention to where you don't lose the story that's being told. And unless you give someone a heads up on said story, they're just going based off of what's in front of them.
Yes.
And it's no different than if we were to watch a movie without reading the script. This is what we see in front of us. This is what we are perceiving accordingly, as opposed like that, which is really weird because a lot of times people hate spoilers, but in this scenario, you're being asked to spoil set. Like it's that's why I'm like, it's a very touchy. Like I hope this makes sense. It's just, I don't think that it's disingenuous as opposed to
He was just given this thing to talk about that was in front of him directly. Now, granted, if he were to go back with context, he would know what to say, so to speak. But in the moment, and this happens every time you go to a movie theater or watch a TV show or watch something for the first time, in the moment, the way that you feel is the way that you feel. And that neither party is wrong.
Right.
But you should have an idea of the perspective accordingly. You shouldn't have to say that now. That's where we're at right now. That's all. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but I feel like without people knowing what's going on, they should at least have an idea of the thing that you're trying to explain. Now I know that you dealt with the schools and stuff.
No, I got a rebuttal to this, and you've made a point that I didn't make that I wish I would have come in with off the bat. If you are a professional wrestler and your story has a specific nuance that you want to get over, tell your commentator, this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So the commentator knows that this is important. Mm-hmm. It's no fair to call foul after the fact if we don't get your story over without knowing what you're trying to do. Now, Travis and I sit at these shows hours beforehand. Mm-hmm. Any wrestler can come up to us and tell us anything. In a lot of places where I work, wrestlers do come up to me and say, hey, this is going to happen. I need you to do this. Is what we're trying to say. Make sure that point gets over. Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's other scenarios where you can just see it from an organic standpoint because of the way they tell stories, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
But I would encourage all wrestlers that are watching this or not watching it, whether you like what I'm saying or you don't, listening. If your commentators are working hard, they will be very relieved and happy if you would come up to them prior to a show and talk about your match a little bit. Any insight we have makes us more effective at telling your story. And that's the truth. The best commentary I've ever done and will ever do is when the wrestlers give me input. The best example of this is Marshe Rocket. Never have to worry or wonder what's going on with him because he informs me when something is needed. Mm. And I know exactly what he's trying to do. It's key. Communication is key. Mm. It's no different in this business. So Travis, I'm not taking anything out of context here. I think you do a great job. I think you are really good at what you do. And like I said, you know, if somebody doesn't like what you say, maybe they get together with you before the show and say, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I think anything can happen as long as people communicate.
Great. You got anything, Ray? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Do you agree or do you disagree with what we're saying? You've done commentary years yourself.
I agree. I mean, again, you can't someone shouldn't bitch about hey, you didn't get this story right or the story over if you don't know the damn story.
If you're a new wrestler to a promotion and you've never worked there before, the best go to your commentators and say, hi, I'm this person. I'm in this match. This is what my character is.
I mean, but to go off of what the scenario you just put, if you're a new wrestler going into a new company, shit, that's easy. Like, you're fucking fresh meat to whoever the opponent is. I mean, to me. But if there's an ongoing story, then that needs to be communicated to the commentator or to commentator team that they know. And if it's not, why is there a dog with puppy dog eyes?
It's a female dog, aka a bitch.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, So I just think, they need to tell us.
That dog looks like so many people I know. It's amazing. Anyway,
you can't just say, "Hey, you didn't get the story." What? First of all, here's the thing: are you paying attention to the match, or are you paying attention what the hell I'm saying on commentary? So I'm just saying.
Oh my God, that dog! That is a winner. Thanks to Braylan for joining us on this show. You can catch Disco Ray this weekend as Wrestle League takes over Chicago and Homewood. Next week on this show, we have a very special guest, someone who's been doing this for a very long time, and someone who is going to give us great insight into this business about a great many things, I'm sure. And of course, I'm talking about the owner of POW Entertainment, the one and only Jimmy Blaze, will be our guest next Tuesday night of the Power Hour. Thanks to Rachel for telling her story. Thanks to C Red for giving great roses. Thanks to Rian for doing yeoman's work on the photos and that picture of the dog. That's amazing. And before we go, Red, what was I going to, or Rian, what was I going to call this show?
Dumb bitch shit.
Dumb bitch shit. Thanks for watching Dumb Bitch Shit. We'll see you next week on the Power Hour. For Rian and Red, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody.